Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I am bringing to you a Novopangea overview video. I did a video several months ago, like it was about a week after the game launched. So I didn't have a ton of time to dive into it. I didn't have many NFTs, so it was basically my initial thoughts kind of video. What I wanted to do was bring a follow-up video in my partnership with Novopangea to give you an overview of the background of the game and also just the game itself, give you a chance to walk through the game and see the different parts of it. Then we're going to go ahead and do a number of other videos that dive into each of the sections, show you different strategies, show you different parts of the game, beginner's guides, just everything that you need to know in order to go ahead and jump into Novopangea and be successful. All right, let me give you a little bit of background behind the story of Novopangea. Essentially, Zine, the creator of all creators, decided to break the Earth, or the world, I would guess we'll call it, up into 6 different regions, 6 different realms. And each realm has their own strengths and weaknesses, but they balance out with each other. And you, as a player of the game, as an owner of part of the realm, you need to decide what realm is best for you in order to move forward. And the nice thing about this, the neat thing is, one, the storyline behind everything is actually pretty cool. If you dive into there, each of the realms, as I mentioned, have different powers, different weaknesses, storylines behind them. They've gone into great deal with this, and I have to say my realm, the one that I picked, was the space realm. And the reason I picked that was a lot of the strength as far as the PvP goes, because there will be PvP down the road. It's more of a military-based strength. At least that's the way I read it. Yeah, right here, military tactics and intelligence. I thought that would be very useful down the road. I also do play. I have a travel pass to the Shadow Realm because there's some cool things there too. Obviously, there's some weakness for each of those. They're self-destructive, they're egotistic, and all that fun stuff that goes along with games like this. But if you go to any of these realms, oops, I didn't mean to do that. If you go to any of the realms, you can go to whatever one you may be or may be interested. I highly encourage you to read through these, get an idea. They don't necessarily dive in or are too impactful now as far as the different realms, except for the fact that there's some are more popular than others, which means more expensive than others. But down the road, I think these powers and weaknesses are going to have a lot more impact on the game. So when you're picking your realm, make sure you look for the long term. I say that quite a bit, but make sure that you're diving in for a long-term vision of how these could help you and how these could hurt you. Obviously, not all the details have been finalized as far as what the impacts are going to be, but it's neat that all of them have a lot of different storylines with it. They all have their own little background. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the next one. It just gives you some details about it. So there's a lot of cool things in each of these, and something I encourage you all to take a look at. Let's dive a little bit more into the game itself. Basically, it's a strategy-based game where you're building your own economy. You have land, you have buildings, you have workers, you're eventually going to have residents, you're going to have PvP, all this stuff down the road, where it's all going to impact and all going to flow within the game itself. You can also forge alliances with other people, and there's not a technical alliance in the game other than the realms themselves. But I can see as it grows and more people get in there and just more skilled workers, more players, I could see people sticking together, working for each other's buildings and things like that. So I definitely could see that. Right now, one of the main goals, other than just getting your resources, which is energy, building materials, and food, obsidian is kind of the currency of choice in game, and I hesitate to say the currency of choice because down the road they will have a token that they have on the Alcor market. So that's something that you should be aware of. The obsidian is used to help upgrade and do different parts in the game. It's going to have a lot more impact down the road too. You can also upgrade your different both buildings and also your skilled workers that make them more productive. Also, they earn more when they work for other buildings, so it's definitely worth putting in that effort to go ahead and build them up and level them up. As I mentioned, down the road, there's going to be a Novo token. I think there's an Obsidian token that's potentially down the road. So you should be aware of those. I think Novo is really the next one that's going to come out here. And you get that by staking in the town hall, which is not available yet in-game, but that's a roadmap down the road. Speaking of roadmaps, this game has been basically the concept launched about a year ago now, so they've been around for a while. And right now we are technically still have some items from Q3. And end of November, they're going to do an update where Chapter 2 comes out, where there's a lot of story cards. And I'll cover that here in a second. But they're also going to have residents being released. Down the road, they're going to have town halls being released. The token that I mentioned. Right now, the token is not tradable on the Alcor market. It's a lot of based in-game to try and build up. We're kind of like at a building phase right now within the game where you're leveling and you're building, you're claiming your lands. You're establishing yourself in the realm, and they're going to start branching it out to having more impact and more play to earn types of aspects and also community aspects. So there's still a lot going on. I've mentioned this before. I like how there is the roadmap of specific things that are going to be coming down the road. PvP is going to be a big one that's coming in here, plus more buildings and creatures, and you'll see these items in game. The other really neat thing about this game, and I think it's very underrated, is the art. The art is fantastic. It's well put together. It's something that if you like just the art style of NFTs, this alone is something to take a look at. Plus, these cards have utility. You can use them as collections and just hold on to them, or you can actually use them in game, whether it's part of the Novo Hub or you use them as speed ups, the higher rarity ones as speed ups. But take a look at some of the graphics that go along with this. It's very detailed. The animation's great. And it goes along with each of the different realms. They all have their own little unique items with them. These are what you call the collection cards, or basically the Chapter 1. As I mentioned, there's going to be a Chapter 2 coming here in the end of November. These are used in the Novo Hub. I'm going to have a whole nother video specifically around the Novo Hub, but what the Novo Hub is, you can take those cards, you can convert them basically into creator credits, and then you can go ahead and buy the NFTs that you want to in game. And these are limited amounts of NFTs, so keep that in mind. Right now, they have travel passes available that allow you to go between different realms. They have skilled workers, which are key in the game right now and a great starting point for those that have a lower budget. The skilled workers allow you to start building up. They have tons of different buildings for each of the realms. Just make sure that whatever you end up going with out of this is the realm that you choose. So don't pick the space realm and start buying a water realm or time realm buildings unless you do have one of those travel passes. Stick within your realm to start with, and then down the road, if you want to grab a travel pass, you can expand outside of your realm. And then also they have a ton of different buildings, and they have the land claims. You can see, for example, here the time land claim is actually completely sold out. That is probably the most popular realm right now on Novopangea. As I mentioned, I'm part of the space realm, and I do have some connection into the shadow realm. So I do have both of those, and we'll show you those here in a second. But that's how you use the Novo Hub. You can also get the stuff on the secondary market. You can also get some of them through the store website. If you go up here to the shop, there's some options to get skilled workers for fiat. Basically use your credit card or Bitcoin, however you want to go. So there's plenty of options in order to buy. Let's go ahead, and the main reason you're probably watching this is you actually want to see the game itself. So let's go ahead and jump in there. This is the Shadow Realm. Let me actually pull out. Let me go. Let me go back a little bit and show you the overall lands. Here's coming up. There's interesting things here because if you take a close look at this, this is what's available right now. Each one has up to 10 different districts. I believe it's 10. Yeah, well, maybe it's 9. 10. There we go. I thought there was 10. Each realm has 10 different districts. But if you take a close look here, you see that these areas back here are clouded. So I'm assuming that's going to expand as more players come in. But that's a down the road types of things. But each realm has 10 districts. And your job when you jump in here is to, first of all, decide your home district. You'll first log into the game, you'll sign in, and then it'll ask you what realm you want to be part of, and make sure it connects with the NFTs that you have. For me, I had the Space Realm NFTs, so I jumped in and decided to be part of the Space Realm. So then I went into the Space Realm itself, and which is this one right here. And then I decided that my home realm, or my home district, was going to be district number 7 in the space realm, and we're pulling up the space realm right here. And what you're going to see is this is District 7 in the space realm. It's not as populated. For some reason, District 1 gets populated way faster than the later ones. I kind of wanted one that was near the back of the 10 because there's, as you can see, there's more space available here. These are actually my three buildings over here right now, and we'll dive into that. But I wanted to show you my District 7 as an example compared to District 1, which is going to be a lot more populated, which means a lot less options for lands that you may want to take a look at. Look at the difference. I don't know down the road what the difference will be with the districts. I know that if you build outside of your home realm, the taxes eventually will be higher whenever they implement taxes. So keep that in mind. Try and build within realm. So decide the district that you want, your home district, and build in there. As far as NFTs go, there is the land claims. These are different lands that basically when you go to a district, you see up here how it's just this pink box. That someone has put down a land claim, but they have not put any buildings on it. It's basically up for rent. You can rent in this game. Then you can go ahead and put some buildings in. And right now, currently, there are 3 different types of buildings. There is the energy mine that basically produces energy. I'll tell you about these resources here in a minute. They have the building materials, or the materials building provides building materials. And then the food facility, which provides food. If I go back here, you'll see them across the top here. The food is basically for your skilled workers. When you do a job for your skilled workers, at the end of that 12-hour shift, you need to feed your skilled worker. For level 1 skilled workers, it's 15 food. So that's why you produce the food. The building materials is for basically building, for upgrading, and also when you establish your land, so you can go ahead and put your building on it. And then also for when you run your buildings, when people do jobs at your buildings, you burn building materials. Same with energy. Energy is right now really only used for buildings and lands. Basically, when someone does a job, it also burns 15 energy. So that's how these are currently used. I imagine that there's going to be a lot more use cases for these 3 different materials. And as I mentioned before, obsidian is actually upgrades different things. So you can upgrade everything from your buildings. You can upgrade them different levels using both obsidian and building materials. You can also upgrade your workers using obsidian and food, which allows you to, and as you upgrade the buildings and as you upgrade the skilled workers, they give you higher production. So as you can see right now, the way the game is set up, it is very much in a building phase. Your goal is to really start building out your materials. If you only have skilled workers, you want to start leveling up your skilled workers. If you have buildings also, you want to level up your buildings. Or you could just go ahead and just own a whole bunch of land and rent it out. It's going to be a little tough to rent out right now because it's still building up the players. But down the road, for example, this person that owns all these lands, it looks like it's a different person, but that owns all these lands. Down the road, there's a potential that they can go ahead and rent those out. And it's basically 2 obsidian to rent it out to each person. So they're just making obsidian off of renting to other people. So there's a lot of also different paths you can take with Novopangea. You can take the landlord perspective, which is what I just showed there. You can go with essentially the entrepreneur, where you own buildings and you have other people come in and work your buildings and you produce from the buildings. You can either rent the land from other people or you can own your own land. And then you have just basically the grinder, the worker, the people that are going in there with skilled workers, a bunch of them, and just working on other people's properties and earning obsidian through there and just earning that way. So there's another, you can go with the grinders. You can go with the balanced entrepreneur, which owns the land, owns the building, and also owns skilled workers. And you are very self-sufficient with that route. That's kind of the direction that I'm taking this, the self-sufficient route. And then last but not least, and this hasn't been implemented yet, is basically the residential, I guess a mogul as far as a residential, basically you own a whole bunch of houses. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the exact word I wanted to use. But basically you own a bunch of residential houses and you rent your space out to skilled workers. That's down the road. That's at the end of this month is when that's going to be implemented. And there's going to be other paths also. So there's a lot of different strategies that you can take with the game, which makes it unique from 90% of the games on Wax right now. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to really partner up with the Novopangea team and do this game and really focus on this game with a number of videos, because I see the long-term potential. I keep saying right now we're like in the building phase, but down the road there's going to be the PvP, and we're going to expand outside of just the building, and also the play to earn really starts kicking in with the token being established down the road. So this is very early in the game. I'm going to do a number of other videos on this. The one other thing I forgot that you can upgrade your storage. Everybody's limited to 1,000 starting off. You can go ahead and continue to upgrade that by using the building materials and obsidian. So lots of things that you can go ahead and work through in this game, even very early in the stage right now. So my personal thoughts on the game, it's obvious. I went out of my way to try and work with Novopangea to set up a partnership with this. So I'm encouraged. And the more I dive into the game too, I get more excited about it, because there's so many paths that you can take within the game. Obviously, do your own research. This is not financial advice. This is coming from a gamer that doesn't know your situation. So make sure you do your own research. You know your situation. Make sure it is right for it. It may not be a game that you want to jump into right now. You may want to wait till it expands a little bit, or you may understand that it could be a good opportunity right now for you to jump in there. So that I will be going ahead and doing some more videos, again, just similar to what I did with Farming Tales, where I did a number of beginner breaking down each of the different groups, showing you how to use the land, how to use the buildings, how to use skilled workers, and so on. And then also some strategy ones that are coming up here. I mentioned the different paths you can take. So there's definitely different strategies that you can do in the game, and we'll do some separate videos specifically on different strategies like the landlords, how you can best move forward with that, things like that. I hope you all enjoy this. I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.